Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Shireen World. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you guys. If you're viewing my channel, I appreciate you if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I am a survivor of domestic violence and narcissistic relationship abuse, so I bring awareness to my channel. I'm a new content creator, so I hope you guys really enjoy. So today I'm gonna come up here and we're gonna talk about being an empath. What is an empath? So, like yesterday or this morning, I put out a video of narcissists, and you will be able to tell the difference between a narcissist and an empath. They're not the same. So, as me being an empath, I wanted to bring it on the social media and show you guys like this is what an empath is. This is what we deal with. So, I'm gonna start this video. It's just gonna be a little audio that you guys are gonna be able to hear, and it's on YouTube. It's called The Most Dangerous Empath. Is the one with a Sigma brain, and it's by Carl Jung. So you can find him on YouTube. And I wanted to come up here and just share this because I am an empath. I feel a lot of things, and what other people go through, and just things like that. And I have to protect my peace. You know. So I wanted to come up here and just show you guys like what is the difference between an empath and a narcissist. We're not the same. It's just not the same. It's never gonna click. So we're gonna get into this video. I'm gonna talk through it a little bit, but I hope you guys really like it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. If you are viewing, if you're dealing with a narcissist, check out my other videos. Subscribe to my channel. If you're going through domestic violence, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you guys. So let's get into it.
Hello, miladies of inestimable value. The deeper you feel, the darker you see. Carl Jung. Empathy, they say, is a gift, but when it fuses with the detached precision of a Sigma female brain, it becomes something else entirely. Not soft, not sentimental, but surgical. She doesn't just sense emotions, she dissects them with frightening accuracy. Scientists have found that true empaths process other people's emotions through the same neural pathways they use for their own pain. But imagine if the person feeling your emotions could control that switch. That's not a blessing. That's a psychological weapon. This isn't the sweet, candle-burning, crystal-loving. This is the empath who can feel your hidden motives before you articulate them, and still smile like she didn't. She can care and cut at the same time. She can read you to filth, lightly. You think she's a...
This is why if you are an empath, you need to protect your peace, protect your space, protect your energy, especially for certain things you have to.
understanding you, but really, she's profiling you. And that's where the danger begins, because when empathy and analytical detachment coexist inside one mind, you're no longer dealing with a feeler. You're dealing with a human lie detector wearing calm eyes and a mysterious grin. Number one, she's the paradox. Jung warned about Carl Jung once said, "The brighter the light, the darker the shadow." That line could have been written about the Sigma empath, a woman whose emotional depth and self-awareness make her both a healer and a silent disruptor. She doesn't just feel emotions, she understands where they come from, why they exist, and what they reveal about human nature. That's what makes her both magnetic and unnerving. You can't lie.
And that's why it's so easy for like people in the street to easily walk up to me in all different type of races and have conversations with me. I'm always smiling, like just I just love being an empath. So if you are an empath, shout out to you. Like I said, you can already tell within the video that an empath and a narcissist is not the same. We are not the same.
Easily around her because she doesn't see you the way others do. She sees your light and your damage at the same time. and she accepts both without flinching. Her empathy is sharp, not soft. She can hold space for your pain without letting it infect her peace. And that balance between compassion and control is what gives her power. Most people think empathy means losing yourself in someone else's emotions. She knows better. She feels everything, but she doesn't drown. Instead, she studies the tides, quietly, intelligently, without needing to make noise about it.
You just
She's
sit back and
dangerous
watch.
because she understands duality, that people can love and still lie, that kindness can hide manipulation, that peace sometimes requires distance.
That's why sometimes with me, I just sit back and watch after a while. Let you choke yourself. So if you're an empath, oh Lord, you take in a lot of stuff, a lot of other people's stuff. And you can read the room. You can feel things before it actually happens.
She's seen both sides of humanity and no longer needs to be shocked by it. That level of emotional intelligence is intimidating to those who thrive on confusion and control. She can read them too easily. But her real danger lies in what she does with that knowledge. She transforms it into quiet mastery. She doesn't expose people to destroy them. She exposes them to themselves. And most people can't handle that kind of mirror. She's the paradox Jung spoke.
So if you're, whatever situation you're in, when you're dealing with a knock and after a while you expose them to them and you let them know what's going on, it's like, you know, they don't like that.
Spoke of. A soul that embodies both empathy and awareness of the shadow. Her heart sees truth with the precision of a scalpel. Her love isn't naive, and her detachment isn't cruelty. It's balance, the kind of balance that makes her untouchable, unforgettable, and ultimately unstoppable. Number two, she's the empath who doesn't chase closure. A Sigma empath doesn't beg for explanations or chase after unfinished conversations. She's lived long enough to know that some people don't end things because they lack words. They end them because they lack courage. Closure, for her, isn't about getting answers from someone else. It's about giving herself the truth she already knows, but once tried to deny. She doesn't need anyone to validate her pain or clarify their betrayal. Her intuition already did that long before they left. When she feels something is over, she doesn't wait for apologies or excuses. She detaches like a surgeon cutting off dead tissue, clean, precise, emotionless. That's not coldness. That's emotional intelligence. She's seen how chasing closure keeps people stuck in cycles of confusion, hoping that the same person who broke them will somehow help them heal. She refuses to play that game. She writes her own ending and moves forward. To her, closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision. It's the moment she realizes that understanding why someone hurt her won't undo the damage, and that knowing their reasons won't make their choices less deliberate. She understands that people reveal who they are through actions, not explanations. Once she sees that truth clearly, she stops asking why, because why no longer matters. Her detachment often shocks people who expected her to crumble. They thought her empathy meant dependency. But she's built differently. She can care deeply and still walk away completely. It's not
So, being an empath is like after a while when you're dealing with certain things, especially with a narcissist, it's like after a while when you see certain things, it's like, yeah, all right, whatever. So this is why I'm saying, I was able to get the answers that I was able to get. And it's just not cool. It's not cool at all. And so you have to detach yourself and just everything because it's just going to be that revolving circle. And Your energy, just everything with your energy is shifted, it's off. You just, uh, that's something you just don't want to deal with as an empath. So, you just go about your business.
Not because she feels less. It's because she feels too much and refuses to let it destroy her peace. The Sigma empath doesn't need closure to move on. She becomes her own closure. Her silence says what her words no longer need to. That silence, that unshakable calm after chaos, is what unsettles everyone who once thought they had power over her. Number three, her intuition is cold logic. Disguised as gut feeling, people often mistake the Sigma empath's intuition for some mystical sixth sense. But it's not magic, it's precision. Her so-called gut feelings are the result of hyper-awareness, memory, and pattern recognition working together faster than logic can catch up. When she senses something is off, it's because her subconscious has already analyzed tone, micro-expressions, inconsistencies, and timing in a matter of seconds. It's not that she just knows.
I'm telling you, this is crazy. Cause like you just know what you know. You know what you know. You saw what you saw, you know what you know. Let's like just with timing. You go outside and you bump into somebody. It's just the timing, like everything. You know what you know, and just being an empath. This is why I say you got to protect your peace. You got to protect your space. You have to protect, especially around certain people, and especially dealing with a narcissist. Like the narcissist can't, as you can see, a narcissistic personality disorder, it has nothing. They're nothing like an empath. You know, they're nothing alike. So if you're dealing with a narcissist and they're telling you they're nice and it is, they're nothing like an empath at all.
It's that she notices everything. Her mind runs silent calculations constantly.
I tell you,
In someone's voice, the shift in eye contact.
I do notice everything. Once my eyes is alerted, I'm alerted now. Once I start peeping stuff, I'm alerted. And then after a while, I start dreaming stuff. It's just what it is. You get alerted. Your eyes is open. This is why they say keep your eyes open. Pay attention.
The sudden defensiveness, she processes them without effort. By the time most people are still reacting emotionally, she's already reached her conclusion. And she's usually right. That's why people
Absolutely.
label her intuition scary. It's not supernatural insight. It's the result of emotional intelligence so sharp it feels surgical. She doesn't use intuition to control others. She uses it to protect herself. Her
Absolutely.
empathy once made her too trusting, too forgiving. Over time, she trained that same sensitivity to become analytical. Now, she can read dishonesty wrapped in charm, insecurity disguised as confidence, and manipulation dressed up as affection. And when she sees it, she doesn't expose it immediately. She simply stores the information, stays quiet, and withdraws her energy. That's her silent power. Observation without announcement. Her intuition isn't emotional guesswork. It's the quiet mastery of reading human behavior through data others overlook. She blends heart and intellect so seamlessly that her awareness feels supernatural to those who can't understand it. She trusts that internal signal completely because it's been tested by pain, lies, and countless disappointments, and it never fails her twice. The Sigma empath's intuition isn't some fragile, dreamy instinct. It's cold logic wrapped in empathy, accuracy disguised as sensitivity. She doesn't just sense the truth, she confirms it before you even finish your sentence. And that's why people fear her calm. It's not the calm of ignorance.
So, if you ever confronted somebody with the truth and they know you know the truth, and it's like after a while they be like, you was right. Yeah, I know I was right. So it feels it. It feels good to be an empath, but at the same time, I also got to protect my peace.
It's the calm of someone who already knows exactly what's going on. Number four, her empathy is a test, not a gift. The Sigma empath shows you empathy. It's not random, it's deliberate. She doesn't pour her heart into just anyone. Her kindness is not a reflex, it's an evaluation. How you handle her softness tells her everything she needs to know about your character. Treat it with respect, and you earn a rare connection. Exploit it, and she'll erase you without a hint of bitterness. She's learned that empathy in the wrong hands becomes a weapon used against the one who gives it. So now every act of compassion doubles as a silent test. She gives you small chances to reveal who you really are.
Absolutely.
The way you respond when she listens,
Hmm.
forgives, or gives you grace determines whether you'll ever see that side of her again. Because she knows empathy is currency, and most people spend it carelessly. She's not unkind. She's just done offering her emotional energy to people who view it as permission to take advantage. Her empathy doesn't make her easy to reach, it makes her harder to fool. She's aware that
Can you relate? Can anybody relate? Are you an empath? Is this the same like a narcissist? Absolutely not.
people mistake emotional availability for weakness, so she lets them. Then she watches every overstep, every subtle manipulation,
Oh,
every
I
moment
watch.
someone assumes her care means compliance. She registers it all quietly. When she finally pulls back, it's sudden and absolute. That's when they realize her empathy was never a trap. They were. To her, empathy is no longer about saving people. It's about identifying who deserves to stand close to her. It's her filter, not her flaw. It reveals who's genuine and who's addicted to taking. Once someone fails that test, she doesn't argue, explain, or fight. She simply disappears. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. The Sigma empath's empathy is her detector. It separates the sincere from the selfish. And when she withdraws it, that silence says one thing louder than words ever could. You've been tested, and you failed. Number five, she doesn't just feel, she decodes. A Sigma-brained empath doesn't get lost in emotions, she analyzes them. Where others are swept away by feelings, she studies them like patterns in human behavior. Every word, every pause, every shift in tone becomes information to her.
Oh,
She
yeah.
doesn't just sense energy, she breaks it down. She can tell when kindness hides guilt, when confidence masks insecurity, and when silence screams louder than words. Her empathy isn't emotional,
It's like I could read the room as soon as I walk in it. I could read the energy anywhere I go as soon as I come in it. Like I could just read it, you know?
chaos. It's emotional intelligence refined to precision. People often mistake her calm for detachment, but it's actually calculation. She's processing while you're talking, quietly mapping out your emotional landscape. Her empathy works like an internal scanner, reading the subtext, the hidden motives, the contradictions in your body language. She's not trying to invade your privacy, she simply can't turn it off. Her brain is wired to decode what people unconsciously reveal. That's why she rarely reacts instantly. She lets the data settle first. She observes, compares, and concludes before expressing anything. That's not coldness, it's accuracy. She's learned that reacting too soon lets manipulative people control the narrative, so she listens instead. And in that silence, she gets.
And that's what I do. Sometimes I just sit back and watch, and I watch you choke yourself after a while. I mean, that's just what it is, and that's why you got to protect your peace as an empath.
She gathers everything she needs to know. Her decoding ability makes her hard to deceive. Lies don't survive long around her because she feels the
Absolutely,
emotional
not at
temperature
all.
shift before the words even finish. But she doesn't call people out. She files that information away and adjusts her energy accordingly. Her strength lies in knowing more than she shows. She's not the empath who collapses under emotional overload. She's the empath who transforms feelings into insight. While others are feeling lost in the noise, she's already reading the pattern behind it. And that's what makes her rare.
Very
She
right.
doesn't just feel emotions, she translates them into truth. Number 6, her empathy has boundaries made of blades. A Sigma empath's compassion isn't limitless. She can feel the depth of your pain, understand your fears, and recognize your vulnerabilities. But she doesn't let that make her a target. Her empathy comes with sharp edges. She knows that caring doesn't mean surrendering. The moment someone tries to twist her understanding into control or manipulation, her patience cuts cleanly. She doesn't shout or dramatize. She simply withdraws, leaving the consequences of your actions to hit you in full force. She's learned that people often mistake empathy for weakness. Ordinary empaths are easy to exhaust, taken for granted, or even weaponized by those who can sense their softness. But a Sigma empath protects herself like a fortress. Her boundaries aren't walls you can push. They're blades that respond the moment anyone crosses the line. Her understanding doesn't make her naive. It makes her precise. She can hold someone's truth in her mind without letting it entangle her spirit. And she knows exactly when to step back before compassion becomes vulnerability. She doesn't negotiate with emotional predators. If someone tries to exploit her insight, she doesn't argue, explain, or apologize. She simply recalibrates her energy and lets the natural outcome of their behavior unfold.
Oh, yeah.
Her empathy is powerful, but it's never submissive. It's a tool, a filter, and a warning all at once. This combination of deep understanding and uncompromising boundaries makes her formidable. She can connect on levels others can't, sense motives before they're spoken, and still
Absolutely.
remain untouchable. To mistake her compassion for weakness is to invite a reckoning you won't see coming. Her empathy isn't just a gift, it's a finely tuned instrument, capable of nurturing or severing depending on what it encounters. And when it severs, it does so with the precision of a blade. Number 7, she sees people as psychological blueprints, not fairy tales. A Sigma empath doesn't get blinded by the illusion of potential. She doesn't build fantasies around who.
So, are you an empath? If you are an empath, hit the like button on my channel. How do you guys feel about an empath? I know these narcissists, like, oh my gosh. But how do you guys feel about empaths? I think we take in too much. Got to stop protecting our peace. Absolutely. And this is why I'm bringing awareness to domestic violence and narcissistic abuse. Because if you're an empath out there, I'm going to protect you as well. I'm going to spread that awareness, and hopefully you get my videos and you could go online, Google, YouTube. There's other people spreading awareness about this, but I don't think there's enough people spreading awareness about narcissists besides the ones that went for therapy and got themselves some help, and they're coming onto the internet and spreading awareness. Other than that, it's not much of narcissist. There's not enough. It's just not enough of it being. It's not enough awareness. So that's what I'm here for. And as an empath, last night I told you guys I'm gonna come up here and show you guys the difference between an empath and a narcissist. And as you can already tell, it is not the same. It is not. We're not the same. They're more demonic, and we're just not.
Who you could be. She studies who you are. While most people rush to label others as good souls or toxic, she takes a different route. She watches patterns, not promises. To her, every person is a living design, a structure of thoughts, fears, motives, and contradictions. She doesn't fall for charm or surface level kindness. She looks deeper, tracing the emotional architecture beneath every word and action. When you speak, she hears more than sentences. She notices the tension behind your jokes, the avoidance behind your smiles, and the fragility in your confidence. She studies the way you defend yourself, whether you use humor, arrogance, or silence, because those defenses reveal your foundation. And once she understands your design, she knows exactly which part of you will collapse under pressure and which part will endure. Her perception isn't judgmental, it's diagnostic. She doesn't need to make you into a villain or a saint. She just sees the blueprint clearly. The wiring of your ego, the fractures in your identity, the areas you've patched with denial. She knows the difference between authenticity and performance, and she reads the mechanics of your behavior like an engineer studying stress points. This clarity makes her emotionally immune to manipulation. You can't fool someone who sees the architecture of your intentions. That's why her empathy feels unsettling. She understands you too accurately. You may feel seen, but also uncomfortably exposed. She doesn't romanticize people because she understands human nature too well. Love, for her, is not about illusions. It's about structure, compatibility,
Structure.
and truth.
Yeah.
She loves what's real, even when it's flawed, and walks away from anything built on pretense. Her empathy doesn't paint halos, it reads blueprints. And that's what makes her both dangerous and divine. Number 8, she loves without needing. A Sigma empath's love is rare because it isn't born from dependency, it's born from awareness. She doesn't seek connection to fill a void. She connects because she genuinely sees you. Her empathy allows her to understand your emotions deeply, but it never consumes her identity. She loves with open eyes, not blind hope. Her love doesn't cling, it observes. It doesn't demand, it respects. She knows that love without independence quickly turns into emotional captivity, and she refuses to be either the jailer or the prisoner. She's been through enough to understand the difference between attachment and affection. Attachment says, I need you to be okay. Affection says, I choose you, even if I'd be fine without you. She practices the latter. Her love isn't built on fear of loss, but on mutual recognition. That's why people often find her presence both comforting and unsettling. She can give you everything and still walk away at any moment, not out of coldness, but out of principle. Her empathy acts as a lens, not a leash. She studies people as they are, not as she wants them to be. She doesn't project her fantasies onto others because she values individuality, hers and yours. If you love her, she won't ask you to complete her. She'll invite you to grow beside her. If you mistake her independence for distance, you'll never grasp the depth of her connection. That true love exists only between two whole beings, not
That means if you're abusive, narcissist, whatever, I don't know, bad energy, all of that. And empath is not going to deal with that. After a while, she's not going to deal with that.
two halves clinging to each other for survival. Her detachment doesn't mean she lacks emotion. It means her emotions are mature enough not to demand possession. She can love you, respect you, and still let you go if staying means losing herself. That's the power of the Sigma empath's love. It's not desperate, it's deliberate. It doesn't trap, it frees. And in a world addicted to emotional dependence, that kind of love feels both foreign and unforgettable. Number 9, she's the empath who won't be owned by anyone's wounds. A Sigma empath understands pain more deeply than most people can imagine, but that doesn't mean she'll allow it to control her. She's seen how trauma can twist into entitlement, how some people use their suffering as a shield to avoid accountability, or as a weapon to manipulate sympathy. She refuses to be trapped in that cycle. Her empathy has evolved past rescue missions. She can sit with your wounds, but she won't carry them for you.
Nope.
She recognizes the difference between healing and dependency. When she listens to someone's story, she listens with compassion, not obligation. She'll offer insight, understanding, and
Oh, yeah.
support, but never submission. The moment your pain begins to demand constant attention, validation, or emotional
It
labor at the
becomes
expense of
draining.
her peace, she steps back. That withdrawal isn't cruelty, it's clarity. She knows when someone is genuinely trying to heal and when they're feeding on pity to stay relevant. Because she's felt broken before, she respects the process of pain. But she also knows that some people use their scars to control others, making their trauma a permanent identity rather than a temporary state. She won't play therapist to those who refuse to take responsibility for their own healing. Her empathy isn't a contract, it's a choice. Once that choice becomes a burden, she cuts the connection cleanly. People often misread her boundaries as coldness, but they're really self-respect in motion. She understands that constantly absorbing another person's suffering doesn't heal them, it drains her.
It does.
True empathy doesn't mean losing yourself in someone else's damage. It means knowing where to draw the line. That's what makes her powerful. She can love people in pain without becoming their crutch. She can feel your sorrow without sinking into it. Her empathy is pure because it's protected, generous but never owned. And that balance makes her the kind of woman emotional manipulators can never conquer. Number 10, she doesn't heal, she awakens. A Sigma empath doesn't go around trying to mend broken people. She isn't a comforter in the conventional sense, and she isn't interested in bandaging wounds that others refuse to confront. What she does is far more unsettling and far more powerful. She exposes truths that most people would rather ignore, truths so raw they force confrontation. And in that exposure, people either grow or flee.
And this is why I'm up here spreading awareness as a survivor. So I'm up here spreading awareness.
Healing isn't her goal. It's a byproduct of her clarity. Her presence demands honesty, first with herself, then with everyone around her. She doesn't sugarcoat reality to spare feelings or protect illusions. If you're hiding from who you are, she will shine a light into those corners you've long avoided. That light isn't gentle, it's precise, cutting through delusions, excuses, and self-deception. It hurts because it reveals what you refuse to see, but that hurt is often the spark needed for transformation. She doesn't nurture dependency. People who mistake her insight for care are often shocked when they realize she doesn't save anyone. She can show you the patterns you're trapped in, the lies you tell
Absolutely.
yourself, and the ways you sabotage your own life. But she won't pick up the pieces for you. She awakens, and the rest is your responsibility. That makes her presence both magnetic and intimidating. People feel drawn to her clarity, yet many recoil from the intensity it demands. She doesn't offer comfort, she offers confrontation. And in that confrontation, the growth she triggers can feel like chaos before it feels like liberation. Her power lies in her refusal to play the traditional role of a healer. She doesn't chase brokenness, she reflects truth. And that reflection can be uncomfortable,
Oh,
even
yeah.
painful, but it awakens those willing to see themselves without illusions. In the wake of her honesty, some find evolution, some find escape, and either way, she remains untouched, unbound, and profoundly impactful. Number 11. She's emotionally fluent, but spiritually ruthless. A Sigma empath feels deeply, but her feelings are never uncontrolled. She experiences emotions with clarity and nuance, reading the subtleties in others like a language she has mastered. Joy, sadness, guilt, and fear all register with precision. But unlike ordinary empaths, she doesn't let those emotions dictate her decisions. Her emotional fluency allows her to navigate complex human behavior without getting lost in it, understanding what drives people without becoming a hostage to it. At the same time, she is ruthlessly sovereign over her inner world. Her spirit is a fortress. She recognizes that emotional exposure is a privilege, not a right, and she protects her energy fiercely. She can witness suffering without absorbing it, feel someone's pain without carrying it, and empathize without surrendering her autonomy. If a situation threatens her peace or integrity, she will step away without hesitation. That withdrawal isn't coldness. It's a boundary enforced with uncompromising logic. This combination, emotional fluency paired with spiritual ruthlessness, is what makes her both rare and formidable. People often mistake her detachment for indifference, but it's not a lack of feeling. She simply refuses to allow emotional chaos to dictate her life. She knows when to engage, when to support, and when to let go. Her empathy has a purpose: to observe, understand, and respond, never to lose herself. She is a master of balance. Her emotions are vast, deep, and sensitive, yet her spirit remains unshakable. She can sit with your pain, hold space for your fears, and still leave intact, untouched by your emotional storms. That combination makes her magnetic to those seeking connection, but intimidating to anyone accustomed to control. Her empathy doesn't enslave her, it sharpens her. Her reasoning doesn't numb her, it empowers her. She feels, she understands, and she acts, always in alignment with her peace. That is the power of someone emotionally fluent, but spiritually ruthless. She can care without compromise, and in that rare ability lies her extraordinary strength. Number 12. She reads vibes the way hackers read code. A Sigma empath doesn't just feel energy, she decodes it. While most people rely on what's said, she listens to what's unsaid. Every flicker of expression, every hesitation before a sentence, every tiny shift in tone or posture is information to her. Her mind runs like emotional software, analyzing microsignals most people don't even notice they're giving away. What others dismiss as intuition is actually an advanced form of pattern recognition. She doesn't guess, she reads. She processes emotions like a skilled hacker analyzing a system. The inconsistencies in someone's story, the pause before a lie, the forced laughter that hides discomfort. She detects them instantly. Her brain stores emotional data like code fragments, connecting them until she sees the full emotional architecture behind someone's behavior. It's not mystical sensitivity, it's raw psychological intelligence. She knows when your words are clean, when they're encrypted, and when they're hiding something dangerous underneath. People often underestimate her because she appears calm, even distracted. But behind that quiet exterior, her mind is working faster than anyone realizes. She's constantly decrypting motives, measuring sincerity, and tracking patterns of authenticity. By the time someone decides how much to reveal, she's already 3 steps ahead. She's decoded their emotional operating system.
That's
Her gift
crazy.
isn't about control, it's about clarity. She doesn't read people to manipulate them, but to protect herself from deception. Experience taught her that not everyone's energy is honest, so she learned to identify hidden bugs in people's behavior before they infect her peace. That's why she rarely confronts, she simply adjusts, quietly reprogramming her boundaries based on what she's decoded. This makes her unsettling to those who rely on pretense. Around her, facades glitch, lies stutter, masks malfunction. Because the Sigma empath doesn't just feel vibes, she breaks them down line by line until the truth reveals itself, stripped of all performance. Her empathy isn't emotional softness, it's analytical precision disguised as intuition. Conclusion. The Sigma empath is not what most people imagine when they hear the word empath. She doesn't melt under the weight of other people's emotions, nor does she sacrifice herself to soothe the world. She's a master of both feeling and discernment, a rare fusion of intuition, intellect, and unshakable sovereignty. Every emotion she encounters, every energy she perceives, is processed with precision. She reads people like open books, not to manipulate, but to understand, navigate, and protect her own peace. Her empathy is not a passive gift. It is a refined tool, dark, discerning, and formidable. To be in the presence of a Sigma empath is to encounter truth in its rawest form. She doesn't offer illusions, she exposes realities, the kind that force growth, self-reflection, and sometimes escape. She awakens, she deciphers, she sets boundaries, and she loves on her terms. Those who underestimate her often pay the price, not because she seeks revenge, but because she refuses to compromise her integrity. Her power lies not in dominance, but in her ability to feel deeply while remaining untouchable, to care intensely while never losing herself, and to command presence without demanding attention. She is a paradox, a force of compassion and quiet ruthlessness, insight and discretion, love and independence. And that is what makes her extraordinary, rare, and unforgettable. In a world addicted to superficial connection and emotional dependency, she stands apart as a lighthouse of awareness, intelligence, and emotional sovereignty. If this video gave you a glimpse into the extraordinary nature of Sigma empaths and the depth of their power, make sure to show your support.
Alrighty. So, I mean, if you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. So, if you are an empath, like I said, there's a difference between a narcissist and an empath. And I wanted to come up here and show you guys, like, there's a difference. So, if you're an empath, protect your peace. If you're dealing with a narcissist, get out that situation. If you're in a domestic violence situation, get out that situation. Like I said, I'm a survivor of domestic violence and a narcissistic relationship abuse, and I'm up here spreading awareness. And I didn't want to really talk too much through this video because I want everybody to know what an empath is, what we deal with. So thank you. I'm gonna head up out of here. If you haven't already, check out my other videos. I greatly appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And just, have a good day, guys. Thank you.
House too quiet, heart too loud. Thought I'd die there. Look at me now, yeah. Keys in the door, I froze in the kitchen. Breath so thin, could've sworn I was missing. Purple on my skin, but my soul stayed vivid. He said you're mine, and I whispered I'm living. Phone in the drawer, but I mapped my escape. Cash in the book, just in case, just in case. Prayed on the floor, I'm not built to break. Packed one bag, walked out, didn't shake. I'm stronger than before.